Hi, you all. It's Maysha with As Long as You're Breathing, and I am so glad to be back with you all after a short hiatus for health reasons. But no matter what's going on, there's always something we can do. And what I was doing during that time was, well, self-love and nurturing. And that's what we're going to talk about today is as long as we're breathing, there's always, always, always something we can be doing. Hey, you all. Again, it's good to be back with you. Yes, I've been on a bit of a hiatus. My mother was here to visit for a couple weeks, and so I wasn't doing a whole lot then. And then I went up home for what was supposed to be a week, but I came back early because I broke out in shingles and what also looked like chickenpox and measles all at the same time. And so I had to see the doctor, and I'm having to stay in to avoid any other flares of any kind and all that kind of stuff. But I am getting all better. And as I said, there's always, always, always something we can be doing. What I've been doing during this time, of course, is self-love and nurturing, which, of course, is part of our true self-care. But I am so wound up today. This is actually the third start I've done to this video. And that's because, of course, yes, they have me on steroids. But I'm always wound up. So, no, it's not the steroids, although I know there are people who would say it is. It's not. I'm always wound up this way. So, but this is a really exciting topic for me. What I'm getting ready to do is what I always do. I'm going to be this bear in a china shop, and I'm going to tell you all I've had some things wrong, and I don't hesitate to do that. You see, it's our ego that keeps us from saying, I've learned something new, and therefore I have a new opinion. I'm going to talk about something differently. It's our ego that's like, oh, I can't do that. People are going to think that I didn't know what I was talking about before. Well, you didn't. You knew what you were talking about before at the level of consciousness you were at that time, at the level of knowledge you had at that time. Does that mean that if we come up with a new cure for something that we're supposed to be embarrassed and say, well, we can't put that cure out because we didn't know about it before. And if we put it out now, then we'll look like we were stupid yesterday. No, you're going to look like you're a genius now because you figured out something new. Well, that's how we always have to look at things, folks. And my whole life, I've been that way. I've never had sense enough to be embarrassed about the fact that I changed my mind about something. And there were people who weren't comfortable with that, and they would be like, you change your mind too easily. No, I don't. I know what I know at the time, and if I learn something new, the responsible thing is to say, hold on a second. I have new information, therefore my paradigm has shifted. My understanding of things has shifted, and I'm going to speak about it from that new understanding. I'm not going to stay in the old understanding just so I could look like I was smart then and don't have egg on my face now. It's egg on your face when that's what you do. Do you understand? We should be excited when we find new information. We should be excited when our level of consciousness goes up. And that's all the increase in consciousness means. That's all the expansion of consciousness is finding out new stuff, seeing things in a new way, learning something new, getting new insights. And I'm always excited to do that. I will be 57 on Wednesday. Now, am I a little vain like everyone else, and do I wear makeup and do all the things to not look 57? Absolutely, I do. But am I proud to be 57? Absolutely. Because my level of consciousness has come up so much, and I've grown so much in the past week, in the past month, in the past 6 months, in the past year. And 57 years, you bet you it's grown. And I'm proud of every bit of that. And it's put some lines on my face, and it's put some weight on me and some off me and on me and off me and all those things. And yes, I have the marks from the illness I've just had and all those things. And okay, so that's the life I've lived. That's the marks that show the life I've lived. I'm proud of those. I'm proud of the life I've lived. I'm not going to be ashamed of it. not going to be ashamed of the life I've lived. So I'm not going to be ashamed whenever I have a change in level of consciousness. I'm going to come forward and say, guess what, folks? I was telling you something wrong. Guess what, folks? I was telling you something wrong. And that's that. There's not always something we can do about things. Yes, there is. Always, always, always. And the truth of the matter is, I haven't really been saying that. I've only kind of sort of been saying it. But even kind of sort of was the wrong thing to do. You see, those of you who are Star Trek fans know that I believe, I'm like James T. Kirk. There's no such thing as a Kobayashi Maru. There's no such thing as a no-win scenario. And the reason I believe that is, well, James Kirk and I, we believe we would just reprogram the damn thing. But not everyone is that free thinking. But whatever it takes, whatever it is that is within your control to do, do. And I've always believed that. But when I got into this, before I got into the world of understanding energy, I was frequently in these loops where I felt like things were beyond my control because I'm this polite person and respectful person. And I'm this person that, well, that's not my place to do that. That's theirs, et cetera, et cetera. And so, bearing the China that I am, believe it or not, I don't try to run other people's lives, even people who are running mine or trying to run mine or that sort of thing. That's not how I handle things. And so I would get caught in these loops with these people who were, well, overbearing, and I allowed it. But I felt like there was nothing I could do about it. Well, in many ways there weren't, because I wasn't making the decision on how they were going to behave, nor can I ever make that decision. And that's what I've been teaching you lately, is that we control only our energy. And so what we put out is all we control. And we get back based upon what we put out. But that we can't put expectations on others. We can't try to do things to manipulate other people. And that's what expectations do. That's true. That is very true. However, we have to remember we are synergistic. Everything is one. And if everything is one, even though I'm not to manipulate someone else, I'm not to have expectations of someone else. Just as what I'm doing, the energy I'm putting out is rippling out butterfly effects, what they're doing is too. So everything I'm doing is affecting them. Therefore, everything they're doing is affecting me. So whether I'm even consciously aware of it or not, I'm always doing something about everything. Every action I'm taking is doing something, just as every action they're taking is. Now, it may not be a direct hit on target related to what they're doing, but there is going to be a ripple effect. So, if someone is doing something that affects my life, and it is not my place to manipulate them or to put expectations on them, yet it is my life that is being affected, there is something I can do. I don't have to meddle in their business. I don't have to put expectations on them. I don't have to send my energy in their direction. I don't have to put my energy someplace it doesn't belong. I can center my energy where it should be, which is, of course, me, because me is all I control. And then put that out. But I can do so in a way with the understanding that what I'm doing is indeed making a difference. You see, what we tend to do, we get caught in these loops. And we allow the fact that we have no control. That person's doing this and there's nothing I can do about that. I'm being the good person. I'm being kind. I'm being respectful. I'm being all those things that we should be. And therefore, I'm letting them do what they're doing and I'm doing my thing. But we get our own vibration affected because of that. We see it as, there's nothing I can do about it. It's going to affect me and there's nothing I can do about it. And that causes our vibrational frequency to go down. And when that happens, what we're attracting to us changes. The energy we're putting out changes. And therefore what we're attracting into us changes. As a direct result of believing that there is nothing we can do because it is about what they are doing. The very thing we can do, folks, is hold our own frequency. You see, we have just let their frequency change ours. Do you hear me? Everything reverberates out. We're synergistic. Everything is one. So while we're staying in our box, while we're playing the right way, while we're doing all the things we should do, while we are taking care of ourselves and putting out our own energy and letting them be them, and we're not trying to manipulate them or put expectations on them or run their lives or any of those things that we're not supposed to do, but we're letting the mind tell us, but that's affecting us. We're letting them, the reverberation of what they're doing, lower our vibration into thinking we don't have control. And it changes how we feel, our energy in motion. It messes with our energy centers, our chakra alignment, our center, our groundedness, and it changes the energy we put out, and therefore it changes what comes back to us. So, what is the one thing we can always do? Hold our own frequency. You know who you are. You know what you're supposed to have in your life. You know who you are and what you stand for. You know what energy you're supposed to be putting out. No matter what energy that other person is putting out, or that other group is putting out, or the whole world is putting out, you hold your energy. Don't let them lower your energy. You hold your frequency. That is why there's no such thing as a Kobayashi Maru. That is the reprogramming we have to do here, folks. All of us. Reprogram our own minds. So, instead of having to fight with ourselves about it, we can operate as the integrated light being that we are, and the mind goes right along with it and says, oh, I know the answer to this. They're operating against us. They're trying to lower our frequency. Oh, no. And that ain't happening. We know who we are. The ego likes it when we know who we are, by the way. The ego likes it when we hold our own. So the ego is going to get on board with this real quick. Yeah, no, we know who we are. We're going to hold our own here. And so then the heart space knows who we are. We treat ourselves the way we love ourselves. We take care of ourselves. We nurture ourselves. We behave in the way that we want to be treated. And then we put that energy out, and we continue to put it out. And we stay in frequency, and we don't have any resistance from the ego, as the ego goes ahead and connects with the rest of our integrated light body, the rest of our energy that isn't able to incarnate in this body, but is there to guide us. And we can function as one then, and we can stay in the vibrational frequency that we came here to be in. We can stay in our frequency, and we can put out vibration just as strong, if not stronger. So instead of our frequency going down, we at least hold our own, at least. And we may do more than that. We may actually cause them to change their frequency. And we didn't do anything manipulative or wrong. We didn't get out of our box and into somebody else's sandbox and try to make them play by our rules. We were just our authentic selves, being who we were supposed to be. That's what we're all here to do, folks. This is exactly how we're all here to live. When we each do this, when we each hold our own frequency, when we're each who we came here to be, and we're reverberating that out, then that is the effect we have on one another. That is the synergistic reverberation that takes place. So if I'm a little out over here, the reverberation I get from my friends pulls me back into alignment, because they're being who they're supposed to be, and everyone is where they're supposed to be. And so the disturbance in the force, which is me at that moment in time, feels that, and it's like, hold on, this doesn't feel right. What do we need to do here? Well, the ego, I've reprogrammed it, just like the Kobayashi Maru and Kirk here. I've reprogrammed those things. A no-win scenario. We are not going to do this. Somebody's out of sync. Everything else seems to be going okay. It seems to be us. So we're not going to resist. We're going to connect with all of our beingness and get ourselves back in alignment and get ourselves back into the frequency we belong. That is how all of this is supposed to work, folks. There is always, always, always something we can do. And that something It's not meddle in other people's lives, not manipulate them, none of those things. It's be who we are authentically supposed to be. That is what we are always supposed to be doing anyway. So I've been telling you that, but I've also been telling you, unfortunately, there are times when other people are going to do things and it's going to affect you. Only if we let it. Now, am I telling you that staying in your vibrational frequency all the time is the easiest thing to do? No, but it gets easier. The more you practice it, the more intention you set. You see, we are energy. And so therefore that is all it takes, is setting the intention. Reprogramming the ego so it is on board instead of in the way. See, we're integrating the mind, not fighting it. We're not destroying ego. We want our ego. Our ego is the one that tells us, hey, we're doing the right thing here. You're wonderful. You're great. Let's nurture and self-love ourselves. Let's get for us what is ours. Because getting for us what is ours, truly, is what also gets for everyone else what is theirs. Because that is when we are in the right frequency and we're putting out the vibration we're supposed to. And then everyone else gets in the same frequency and they're getting what they're supposed to. And that's how we're all healthy, happy, whole, and complete. And all in the right places. And no one is having to compete with one another to have those things. So, it really does come down to be that change. When things aren't going the way you want them to be, you be that change. You look in the mirror and you say, what am I not doing that I should be doing? How am I out of frequency here? I know I'm always telling you all that whenever we have something to release, when we have something that we really need to let go of, always start with the lowest vibrational frequency, which is unforgiveness, and forgive yourself first. And people are always like, what am I forgiving myself for? I didn't do it. They did it. We always have something in it that we did. And that something that we did is letting ourselves get out of vibrational frequency. Now, granted, there is no judgment here. We're at a level of consciousness we didn't know. So there's no judgment to be had here, folks. There's no, oh my God, you know what? See them, see how bad they are. See what they're doing to me? Now I've got to hold my frequency. I've got to, oh, thank God I'm integrated. Thank God I know to do that. So now I can hold my frequency and I can help pull the world into vibrational frequency here. There's none of that, folks. That's truly ego. And that's coming from the whole wrong place. It doesn't work that way. It comes from the standpoint of coming to the realization, wow, I was in that level of consciousness once. I was like that once. It's not me anymore. Now I'm in this level of consciousness. And I am integrated. And I know better. And I'm going to stay in my frequency. And I don't know how long it will take before it helps pull that person into the frequency they should be in. But I'm not going to worry about that. I can't put my attention on that. All I can do is me, but I'm going to do me. And I'm going to keep doing me, and I'm going to keep doing me. And I'm not going to have any judgment on the fact that they're not. Now, am I talking about the narcissists? Am I talking about the ones that target us? No. We do have to be aware of those. It takes more than parameters. It takes more than just putting out the right energy to deal with those. We do have to have hard, firm boundaries with those. We do have to be watching ourselves for those. But even then, without judgment, they are who they are. They are who they are. Doesn't mean we let them be in our lives. Once we realize it, once we realize that they target us, they purposely mirror our energy to get into our lives. So then they can drain our energy, change our frequency down to theirs or over to theirs or whatever the direction happens to be. We don't have to let that happen. So yes, we need boundaries with those people and we need to know they exist. But for the most part, that's not what's out there. For the most part, it's just people who were like you were yesterday or an hour ago or 5 minutes ago or a minute ago. They just didn't know, and now they do. It reminds me when my boys were little, and Patrick loved G.I. Joe, and I would hear, of course, he would always be like running to the music and trying to do like the little, when they would be coming on and stuff, and he's such a hoot. But anyway, it would be, and that's, G.I. Joe, and now you know, and knowing is half the battle. Well, knowing is at least half the battle, folks. It may be all of the battle. You see, everything we do affects everything else. And so we can either choose to be affected by everything else, or we can choose to be holding our own, knowing who we are, staying in that energy, and we be the ones who are resonating that out, and we're affecting change. That is the truth. And I've been saying degrees of that, versions of that, for I don't know how long now, since I've come to understand energy, but I understand it at a deeper and deeper level, more and more simplistically, even though it's a deeper level, more and more simplistically all the time, because it is more and more simplistic. You know, many of the religions of the world say things like it's supposed to be so plain a child can understand. It is. It's not supposed to be hard. It's supposed to be easy. When we start making things hard, we need to look at what we're doing, because if we're making it hard, we're muddling it up, folks. Yeah, no, I cleaned up the language a little bit there, didn't I? Well, you know what I mean. We're doing that too. We're muddling it up, folks. Whenever we start making things complex, we need to look at, what am I doing wrong here? How am I out of sync here? What am I not seeing here? Okay, you go. Where are you not integrated here? When we have something in our heart space that we know is ours, and it's hard to make happen in our lives, we need to stop looking at, well, it's because over there they're doing this, and over there that's happening, and over there this is happening, and we need to, because that's when we're making it all complicated, folks. And no, I didn't say we're making excuses. We're operating at the level of consciousness that we know at the time. And so we're seeing what we see. And we do see these realities. These things are realities. These things are happening. And yes, they are affecting us. But the level of consciousness we need to be at is, hold on a second, but I control me. And I am as powerful. And by powerful, I don't mean I have control over someone else, but I am as powerful, I have as much energy as the next person. And therefore, whatever effect that situation, that group of people, that person is having, and that one, and that one, and that one, I can have as much effect. I have as much power. All I have to do is stand in my power. That's what standing in our power is. It's not exerting authority over someone else. It's not exerting our will over someone else. It's not pushing our will onto someone else. It's not manipulating or putting expectations onto others. It's being who we know we are. That's standing in your power. It's when someone else, their reverberations of life are affecting yours. And you say, hold on a second. They've got a right to do that. Whatever level of consciousness they're in, they've got a right to be there. Even if it's the narcissist or the borderline personality person, they've got a right to be that. I have no right to go do anything about that. I only affect me. But by golly, my power is mine. And I have the responsibility, not to just myself, but to the whole, to stand in that power and to hold on to it. And to operate from the level of consciousness that I am in. And the level of consciousness I am in today at this moment in time tells me that all I have to do is be who I know I am. Put out the energy I know I'm supposed to put out, and not let the energy they're putting out pull mine down or out of frequency in any way. That is my one and only job. I've been saying that for some time. But the scope of what that means, folks, the simplicity of what that means. I have situations in my life that I don't control, just like you, that there are reverberations from them that are like, you've got to be kidding me. Seriously? No. And it's like some things are like right there and then not. And it's so frustrating. And so I've been looking at myself and I've been like, so what is it I'm not doing? Because as I teach you all, whenever there's something not going right, when there's something we need to release, we start with ourselves. What do I need to forgive? Because there's something I didn't do. That something I didn't do was stay in my energy. So I've known that. So I've been like, so what is I'm not doing here? Last night, my friend Annette and I, we meditate most every night from like 10 o'clock till 1 in the morning almost. And I was telling her about this very situation. I said, I know people are tired. The few of you that I talked to about it, I know they're tired of hearing me say, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. But where I'm to is not, I'm not crying about it anymore. I'm not depressed about it anymore. None of those things. I know that this is a loop. And that we're not supposed to be in loops because loops are stuck energy. And I've known that for some time. What I want to know is, what am I supposed to do about the loop? What am I supposed to do about it? Because I don't have effect. I'm not allowed to. It's not my place to. It is wrong for me to manipulate or expect in any way to affect change on what someone else is doing. That is not my place. So what do I do? Because I know this loop is not healthy for me. Yet I know why I'm in this loop. I don't know what to do here. I know I have to get out of this loop. But I also know this is my life. This is what my life is supposed to be. So I don't know what to do here. So this morning I got up, and the first thing I got was, I love cards. Choose your intuition. It's an emerald. My birthday's in 2 days. My birthstone is emerald. I'll be 57. I'm proud of every single year, every single increase in level of consciousness. And I'm not ashamed of the fact that I have been in other levels of consciousness, because we all start where we start. And that is why I love what I do so much and why I am the way I am. I'm glad I'm the way I am. I'm so glad they gave me Every Life is a Story a few years ago. Every life is a story. And my story affects your story, and your story affects my story. And I knew that. And I knew that we had to be open and honest and talk about our stories so other people could say, oh, wow, it sounds like me. It's not that it just sounds like you. It is you. And it is me. We're mirrors for one another. When our stories resonate with one another, we're mirrors for one another. That's how we help one another do this. That's how we help each other get into the frequency we're supposed to be in. We're not supposed to do this alone, folks. Anytime you feel like you're all alone in a situation, that's not even possible. It's not even possible. We are synergistic beings, part of a oneness. So it's not even possible for you to be all alone in a situation. So what is your heart space telling you? What is supposed to be in your life? Who is supposed to be in your life? Go get them. But they don't want to be in my life, so how do I do that? There's always something you could do. You be you. And you get into the vibrational frequency you're supposed to be in. You do this. How do I want to be treated? Who am I? Who am I? What do I want to feel? What do I want to be? What do I want to experience? Okay. I'm going to treat myself that way, and I'm going to put that energy out. That's the first way we get into that frequency. And then we start looking at the lessons. And no, not because we're here at Earth University where it's hard knocks and we're supposed to learn hard things and go through hard things. That's not what that's about, folks. Lessons are good things. We're meant to be in higher vibrational frequency to begin with, not in that dense energy where we're learning hard knocks lessons. We're supposed to be learning good things so that instead of, oh my God, thank God I finally learned that lesson, is, oh my gosh, guess what I learned today? And we're supposed to be excited about it instead of being stuck in our ego and embarrassed and like, oh, well, I can't tell people that. They'll think I was stupid yesterday. No, they won't. They'll think today, oh my gosh, look, she's gone up in consciousness. Isn't that amazing? Wonder how I'll go up today. Oh, let me see what I can come up with today. Let me see how I can reach out and expand and grow and become a better person today. That's what we're meant to do. So that's why I love Every Life is a Story. That's why I love what I do. That's why I don't mind that I'm 57. Do I want all the wrinkles to show and stuff? No, but it's okay. Because every line, every little mark, everything is part of the journey of having grown in consciousness and gotten to where I am. So trust my intuition. My intuition was telling me, you're missing something here. There's something that's so obvious, and you know the answer. okay, so I listened to this reading. I'm listening to it, and I'm like, this reading is not about me. I know who it's about. So am I supposed to say something? And I immediately got no. For me, yes is up, no is boom. And this was a no. And I'm like, well, I knew the answer before I asked, because this person would be like, this is none of your business. And it's not. That would be me butting into someone's life. That would be me like, okay, what's going on in your world is affecting my world, and I don't like the outcome. And so this is my expectation of you, and all the things I teach against. And I'm not going to do that, because I really do try to live what I teach, folks. Am I perfect at it? No. Am I ever going to be? No. But do I try? Yes. So was I going to do that? No. So my asking was facetious, but nonetheless, the universe was like, whoa, no. I'm like, seriously, I knew that. And when I say universe, I'm talking about we are one, but yet we are individual light beings as well. And so we contain within us everything that is without is also within. And so my own energetic light being quickly, because I'm integrated with it, I don't let the ego, or do my darndest to not let ego interfere with that integration. The ego is integrated, so we operate as one. So I get the guidance, and it was like, whoa, no, don't you say a word. And I'm like, I wasn't going to. And they're like, well, we knew that, but just making sure. so that's what clairaudience is. That's what claircognizance is. That's what all the clairs are, folks. It's being open to your other energies that are talking to you, which are within us, but it's also being in touch with, coordinating with the energies that are without as well, the other dimensions without, which is everyone else and everything else. Because we are all interconnected, we are all one, synergistic. So anyway, so I got, no, you're not supposed to say anything. You're like, well, I knew that. So, but my intuition is, this is what's going on. And what am I supposed to do? Well, okay, this, keep doing this, keep being you, taking care of you, and get well, because of I've been going through shingles, measles, chickenpox like outbreak for like a week. It started last Sunday, so a week now. And so keep taking care of you, and get well and get better and all of those things, and keep putting out the energy that you need to be you. And I keep getting this calling yourself home card when Annette and I meditate at night. It's call yourself home, call yourself home. And I keep having this resistance. And it's in the throat chakra area. And it's well, our throat chakra is not just about speaking, folks. It's about our understanding. And it's about our connection with all of our light beingness and all that is around us. And so, I'm like, what am I not understanding? This is also part of the conversation I had with Annette. I'm like, there's something I'm not understanding, and I don't know what it is. Obviously, you getting this. And then last night there was a little over here too, which is like not even right, because, well, it's left, obviously, but it's also, it's not what happens. That's not how they communicate with me. I have a lot of clairsentience. I feel energy too. That's a lot of how they deal with me. And so I know here, I knew there was something I was missing. Something I wasn't getting. When we're not hearing correctly, when we're not, when we're out of balance, when our chakras are not in balance, we don't, even though we're hearing, we may not hear correctly. Like when someone is talking to you and they say something and they think they said it so clearly, yet what you hear and what they said are two entirely different things. It's like that. And so I knew that's what was going on. Okay, they're telling me something, but what I'm getting and what they're saying is not, it's not in sync. And so I need to be doing something here. I needed to be doing this and standing in my energy and trusting my intuition and listening to all the places they were sending me to get the messages. And so that's what I was doing. So I drew some more cards. Well, one of the cards that I had drawn a couple days ago, of course, was Metatron's. Metatron's fire dragon. Well, that's the fire in our belly. That's our solar plexus. You see, dragon energy is another dimension of energy that we personify, just like we personified archangels and angels and the unicorns and the fairies and all the others. But those are dimensions of energy. And we don't all have all of these dimensions of energy, but dragon energy is a dimension of energy that we do all have, that we can either access from without. It can be other dragon energy we're accessing, or it can be our own. that we're accessing from within, that can go into the denser places. It can withstand the denser places and not lose its vibrational frequency. And that's what I was being called on to do. Stay in your frequency. The fire in your belly, the solar plexus. Stay strong, stay in your frequency, in spite of what's going on around you, in spite of the reverberations coming in on you because of other people around you and what they're doing. You stay in your frequency. That is the answer. Well, I knew that, but I wasn't operating in it. As much as I try to live what I teach folks, sometimes having conscious awareness of something and yet functioning within that conscious awareness is two different things. It's one thing to know not to overeat so that you're not overweight. It's another thing to do it. And it doesn't mean you don't know. It doesn't even mean you're not trying. But it can be difficult to do for all sorts of reasons. And you have to discover what those reasons are and deal with those reasons. And yes, I believe we can quantum leap a lot of those. Most of them, actually. Well, I was being called upon. Get in your dragon energy. Use that part of you that can go into the denser areas that you're being called to go into, because you're being drugged through some dense ones right now, girl. You've got dense stuff coming at you. The dragon in you. That fire in your belly, your solar plexus. You have the strength. Your power is to stay in your frequency and not let that affect you. As a matter of fact, you're being called to reverberate out the energy that says, no, this is who I am. You align with my energy. I'm not aligning with that. Now, sometimes you're non-resonant energies and you're not supposed to be in alignment, perhaps. Perhaps they're supposed to be in alignment with something way over somewhere else, and that's okay. They're going to move on when they notice that. That's what they'll do. But if they're supposed to be in alignment with you, they'll feel that reverberate, oh, there's a disturbance in the force. And hopefully they will come to the level of consciousness that, oh, it's my energy that's out. And they will pull themselves in. Through nothing that you're going to go do to them or say or whatever, but through the true self-care, self-love, and nurturing. Who do I want to be? What do I want to feel? What do I want to experience? Let me do that for myself and put that energy out. And when I do that, that's what I attract back to me. And then I have the right people and the right things in my life. Things are flowing where they should. It does take all of us doing it. And yes, not everyone is. And so yes, we are all being affected by it. But the more we stand in our fire, in our belly, the more dragon energy we are standing in, the more we make this so. And that is what is happening. This whole spiritual awakening thing that the world is going through, folks, that's what this is. I hear so many people talking about, oh, it's the end of the world. The world is going to end. Things are going to get worse. No, they're not. They're going to get better. People are waiting for God to come back. God is here. God's always been here. We're the ones that have been out of sync. We're the ones that didn't have the level of consciousness. We're coming up to the level of consciousness of understanding. So plain a child could understand. But we weren't understanding because our chakras weren't operating. We were out of alignment. We didn't have it all where we could hear, even though we were hearing, we weren't hearing. Our communication area was not in alignment and functioning properly. So the next card I got was this gate. And I get this card frequently. And this card frustrates the living daylights out of me. My friend Annette and I, we talk about this card all the time because this card is supposed to depict this girl who is inside a garden with a key on her neck so she can go out the gate to this place out here that is supposed to be so much better. And she doesn't think that she can, so she doesn't go out even though she's got the key. And I'm like, nothing about this card adds up. One, it's prettier inside than it is out there because there's storm clouds out there actually. And there's flowers and stuff in here, and out there there's just a path that kind of goes to God knows what. And so how do we know that she didn't come from out there and she used the key to get in the gate? I mean, this card is confusing as daylights to me. To me, it depicts almost the opposite sometimes of what it's supposed to depict. And so I get really frustrated when I get this card because I'm one of those people that even when I'm in that energy, when I've been in that energy of those loops that I get in, that I'm like, well, but that's someone else doing that. And so I'm not allowed to affect that. The polite thing to do, the right thing to do, the et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, is I'm supposed to stay in my lane. And that's their thing to deal with. And this is my thing to deal with. And so I'm locked in the gate. Even then, well, I'm Jim Kirk, Kobayashi Maru. I don't believe in that. So I'm still, if I've got a key, I'm going to go reprogramming something, folks. I mean, it's just who I am. I'm the bear in the china shop. It's what I do. It's why I live where I live, and I don't live with my family and stuff because I don't. They're like, oh my God, there she goes again. And yes, there she goes again. And she's going to keep right on doing it because that's her energy. It's who she is. And she's damn proud of it, all 57 years of it. And so, yeah, so here I am doing it. And yeah, so this girl with the key and the gate and all that stuff, every time I get this card, I'm like, nothing about this card makes sense. This isn't me. If I've got the key, if I know what to do and feel it's in my power to do, and obviously it's in her power, this girl doesn't look like anything's keeping her from opening that gate. You should see me when every time I get this card, or if Annette gets it, I go on a tear, folks. I'm like, what is it about this card? Why is she looking out there like, I mean, she doesn't look pensive. She doesn't look like, oh, I don't know what to do. I don't know, none of that stuff. It's like, okay, I've got the key. I could go out if I wanted to. I actually think personally she's been out there and she got the key and she got into a place that's a better place is what I think. And she's like, I could leave if I want to, but I don't want to leave. I like it here. And it's a better place. And so this card frustrates the daylights out of me. So I got it this morning and I'm like, oh crap, seriously, what is this? This isn't me. This is not how I do things. I don't believe in a no-win scenario. And this is a no-win scenario. This is somebody who's got the freaking key around her neck and she's not doing anything with it when she could do whatever she wants with it. And look at her. She knows she can. So yes, this card is me. I'm this girl. I'm like, I got the key. I can go if I want to. I don't want to go. I'll go when I'm ready. Right now, I'm where I want to be. So why am I getting this card? And I got to think about it. Well, folks, we are connected to other people in our lives. We don't always get these things because they're about us. Sometimes they're about other people we're connected to. And that's what this was about. Like the reading I got, it was about that person. And what I was like, oh, do I go tell them? Immediately, which I knew because they would be like, who are you to tell me this? And I wouldn't presume to tell a person, listen, I saw a reading and I know what's going on and this is it. And I wouldn't presume to do that to someone because that's not the proper use of my gifts, for one thing. It's not operating in integrity with my gifts. I stumbled onto the knowledge, to be perfectly. No, I didn't stumble onto it. Spirit took me there. The universe took me there. My own energy. I was drawn there because I'm supposed to know because it's affecting my life. So I was supposed to know for that reason. But I'm also supposed to act with integrity with that knowledge. I'm not supposed to be a bear in a china shop and go and say, and this is what you need to do now. That's not my place. That's not my place. That's lowering my vibrational frequency to a frequency of putting my expectations and my wants, my desires, et cetera, onto someone else. No, I'm going to stay in my energy. So my energy is, okay, so I get it. I know what this is about. But how do I operate with the integrity of my gifts now, knowing this? And they're like, well, the freedom of the truth. What? I'm not supposed to talk to them about it. Communicate honestly and be who you truly are. Every time I get this card, it's about the fact that I am an integrated light being, and I know it. And I know that we can all be that. And I know that we are all light beings. And that we can communicate with the energetic aspects of ourselves that are not the dimensions of ourselves, the higher vibrational frequencies of ourselves that are not able to be embodied in this energy, but they can see and know what's going on that we don't. That can help guide us. So I don't have to talk to this person face to face. I don't have to interfere in their life, but I can talk to their higher self. I can say, hey, higher self, I'm aware of this situation. Are you? Is your 3D person, is your physical person? This is what I've been shown. Are you aware? I actually have a strong telepathic bond with this person at that level. The minute that I understood, oh, I'm supposed to deal with it in the higher dimensions of energy, the minute I understood that, I felt their energy. I'm like, hey there, guess what? Guess what I saw today? Guess what's going on? Guess what I know? Why haven't you been saying something? Why are you been dealing with this by yourself? There's no such thing as oneness. And you know what's supposed to be in your life, just like I know what's supposed to be in mine. And everyone around us knows what's supposed to be in their lives. So why are you handling this alone when you never have to be alone with anything? Now, this is what you're not seeing. And so I told their higher self. And now their higher self has to talk to their incarnate energy. Now, what their incarnate energy does with that, if they've integrated, if they're communicating, if they've got their throat chakra in balance, all those things, I have no control over that. That's true. But the more I stand in my energy, and the more everyone I know who understands this is standing in their energy, the better chance they've got of being in their energy too. You see, that's the reverberating out that we're all doing. When we each stand in our energy, we're sending out the butterfly effect of, oh, here I am. I'm showing up in my energy. And so we're all where we're supposed to be. And that's sending out the vibrational frequency that pulls us all into the energy we're supposed to be. And so that makes that person's dragon energy able to come to life in them. And they're like, hold on a second. Whoa. That makes their intuition wake up and say, oh, hold on a second. That causes them to say, wait a minute. I've got a key here. Why am I not using it? My self-love is, I know it's supposed to be in my life. What the am I doing? And why am I doing it alone? Because I know I've got this friend and that friend and this person and that person. And I'm looking at my life. I see who stands by me. I see who does what. I know. So all I had to do was be me today and not second guess it. That's another thing that I've been guilty of. You see, I am really, really, as I became aware of the fact that, oh, wow, I see this, I know this, etc., as my gifts became more and more obvious, I'm so determined not to use them without integrity that I would see, okay, so, well, hold on, if I do this, this, and this, I can see the reverberations out from that. And to me, that was manipulation. And I've told you all about arguing with archangels. So these were the arguments we had. They would be like, you're not manipulating anything. You're being you. I'm like, you mean I'm being a freaking bear in a china shop again? They're like, no. You're standing in the freedom of your truth. You're being you. You're following your intuition. You're just letting yourself out of the gate. You're being you. You're being you. And whether that person feels the reverberations or doesn't feel the reverberations, you don't know. We haven't shown you that. All we've shown you is this is the situation, and this, your heart space knows what you're supposed to be doing with your life. What was your heart space showing you before you knew the situation? We've only shown you the situation because you know that this isn't making sense. I'm in a loop and I shouldn't be in a loop. Why am I in a loop? That's why we've shown you. Because we know you're going to act with integrity. We know you're not going to go and say, okay, listen, this is what's going on. This is what you're going to do about it. We know you're not going to do that. But what we do expect you to do is be you. Stop running from who you are. Come home. We've been calling you home for days now. Get in your energy and be who you are. You know who you are. Night energy, young at heart energy. Say what it is you've got to say. Do what it is you've got to do. Be who you are. And do it quickly. You're not one of these people who sits around and thinks about it. You get the hit and you act. It's what you do. It's who you are. Now, does that mean that I'm supposed to always just fly off the handle and do things? No, they're not telling me that. But they are saying, once you have processed things correctly, and you have, act. And don't let anything keep you from it. You've got the key. You know the answers. You've got the intuition to do it. Take care of yourself and be you. And what happens because of it? You don't manipulate anybody. You're just being you. And that's it. That's all you're doing. You don't know how many times folks have given me things to teach, information to teach. And I've hesitated because I've known many people in my lives who would be watching. And I'm like, well, in so-and-so's life, I see and I know it applies that way. And they're going to think I'm talking to them. And I'm not. But because I see and I know, that's how it's going to look. And they're like, and you only know that because of your intuitive gifts. Are you running to their lives to use it to manipulate them? Or are you telling the world the same information and they can choose to listen to it and use something with it or not? Do something with it or not? Do you understand? We're asking you to stand in your energy and let the reverberations of it come out. We're calling you home to be you. This is what they've been asking me to do all this time. And I have fought it, and I have fought it because I felt like it was manipulative because my intuition was so strong because of the things that I knew and I felt. And it's just the opposite. That's the loop I've been in. I've held back and not said and done things that I should have out of fear that it would be seen as barreling out of a gate I had no right barreling out of, just because I had the key. Of being too much this. I'm not trying to be too much of anything. I worry about that, folks. That is one of the things that I've always been too much for people. I'm not too much for anyone. If I'm too much for someone, then our energies don't resonate. And they need to deal with someone else. I'm not the right person for them. That doesn't make me right, them wrong, me good, them bad. It means our energies don't resonate. That's all it means. If me being me causes anyone to feel like I'm being manipulative, when I'm operating within the integrity of my gifts and all I'm doing is teaching, then the problem is not me. Our energies simply don't resonate. They're not ready for the reverberation that's coming out, or they're never going to be ready for it, or it's just non-resonant energy and there's another teacher or there's some other place that they're supposed to be. I don't worry about how many followers I have anymore. I don't worry about any of that. The number of people who follow me, who hear me, they're the number who are supposed to. I don't want anyone to hear my messages that aren't supposed to hear them. If there's only one person that's supposed to hear, that's okay with me. That's the one person I'm supposed to reach. And I don't use my intuition to know who that is going to be because I can't know, because they don't show me that. Before I speak, they don't show me, and these are the people who are going to listen to you. So I don't know. So what I say and what I do is not manipulating anyone. And just because someone gets the intuitive hit to watch or listen doesn't mean they do. Not everyone responds, even when their level of consciousness is, that's for me, I should listen. Oh, wait, I know how to lose weight, but I'm not doing it today. Same thing, folks. So I don't know. So all this guilt I felt, all this concern I felt, all of those things, come home to yourself. Be who you are. Stand in your energy. And what you're supposed to have will come to you. And if it doesn't, then better will. Because that's how the universe works. That is how energy works. When we are in our vibrational frequency and we are putting out that energy, which is us, we are never going to get less if we don't get that which we were supposed to get. Then our guides that we are integrated with, they're looking and they're like, oh, she's working with us. We have best and highest good permission from her. So, we couldn't give her that, we were supposed to, because this one over here and that one over there and that one over there. They're not where they're supposed to be, but look who's over here. Oh, hot diggity, and that's even better. He can give her that. That's how it works, folks. That's how it works. So then, my friend Annette got me new cards for my birthday. The Starseed cards. A new earth. It's happening. Keep holding to the vision. I know this is how it is, folks. This is what I'm here to teach. This is what I've always been here to teach. When I was a little girl, I knew that people that would look you in the eye and tell you one thing while they were doing another, I knew there was something wrong with that. I knew energies that were around me. I didn't understand that it was energies, but I knew things around me were the things that were supposed to be around me. I knew it wasn't where I belonged. I knew that things were going to change. I knew that I was supposed to be grounded. I would go outside and stand. Mom says she would see me outside with my arms out like I do now. My legs spread apart, grounded, and my arms out and up. I was connecting above. I knew as a little girl to do those things. It's who I am. It's what I came here to be. It's who I am. Come home to yourself. Be who you are. Freedom of the truth. Love and nurture yourself. Do your self-care. Your self-care is being in your frequency. And that's all it is. It's not a selfish thing. It doesn't mean I'm going to be in my frequency so I get my way. I may not. But the rest of my energy is looking, okay, so she's not getting what she's supposed to. That's going to disappoint her. We know it, but so we're going to give her this instead. And you know what happens then? I come online and I say, guess what, folks? Yesterday I thought this, and today, guess what I found out? Because it just keeps getting better and better. Our level of consciousness just keeps going up and up. This is me. I do hold the key. And I go out the gate when I want to, and I come in the gate when I want to. And I know that when it's storming out there, I don't want to go. And when it's prettier inside the gate, then that's where I go to. I go where my energy is supposed to be. So no matter what this card was created for, I understand what this card is for me. And I know why this card frustrates the daylights out of me. But I also know what it means when I get it. And I'm like, I'm in my place. I know. So what is this? It's not about me. It's about someone else. Someone else isn't. And I'm supposed to stand in my power, be me, follow my intuition, teach what they give me to teach, and keep holding the vision. Because the people listening need to hear it so they can get in their vibration and they can do the same. There's always something we can do. There is no such thing as a no-win scenario. You are never alone. Ever. I'm never alone either. As alone as I feel sometimes. And folks, I'm here most of the time by myself. If I'm not on Zoom, 99% of the time I don't see anyone. But I'm never alone. Because every action I take affects everyone else. Every time I slip out of my energy, I'm affecting everyone else. Every time I hold it, every time I'm home, every time I'm me, I'm helping pull the frequency of this planet up to what it's supposed to be. And helping the person next to me, and the person next to me, and the person behind me, and the person next to them, and the person next to them, and you're doing the same. So no, there is no such thing as a time when there is nothing we can do. There's always something we can do. Be who we came here to be. This is a new earth. The time is now. And it is simple, so simple that a child can understand it. Be your authentic self. Treat others the way you want to be treated. Treat yourself that way first and put that energy out. When we all do that, when we all do what we teach little children to do, or what we're supposed to be teaching little children to do, when we all say, would you want your friend to do that to you? Then don't do that to your friend. Do you remember when that's what we taught children? Why are you acting that way with your friends? Is that how you want them to be? And no, we switched all that around and we turned it into dog eat dog. You and yours. We had it backwards, folks. And we've had it backwards for I don't know how long now, but a long time. We're coming home, and this is home. Be who you're supposed to be. Stand in your energy. Hold that energy. Hold your frequency. And every time you get a new revelation and your level of consciousness goes up, don't be embarrassed that it wasn't there yesterday or an hour ago or a minute ago. Hot damn, guess what? I was wrong. Guess what I found out? Guess what I know now? That's the way to be. That's how a little child is. A little child isn't like, oh, gee, I didn't know how to walk yesterday. I'm so ashamed. A child is like, look at me, take my first step. That's the energy we're supposed to be in. That's what we're here to do. Come home to yourself. Be who you are. So we can all be who we're supposed to be. There's always something we can do. Stay in your frequency. Hold on to it. And when you slip out of it, don't judge yourself for it. And when others slip out, don't judge them. Guard yourself against those who do so on purpose, who are merely mirroring your energy to get into your world to rob you. Boundaries for those people. Be aware of the snakes in the grass. They exist. But most people aren't that. Most people aren't that. So when you slip or when anyone slips, treat everyone the way you want to be treated. First of all, forgive yourself. And then forgive everyone else for it. Let it go. It was level of consciousness. And you're like, level of consciousness? Hell, they knew better. Maybe they did. But I also know if I eat chocolate all the time, I'm going to get fatter. But guess what? My weight still goes up and down. And I forgive myself for that. And I will keep working on doing better. And I forgive everyone else equally because I want to be treated that way. When we start putting those energies out, folks, that's how we get there. And it's where we're headed. So is this about the card and the reading this morning and what I know is going on with someone that's reverberating and it's affecting my life? And if I let my level of consciousness go, my vibration go down, yes, it's about all of that. But I operate in the integrity of my gifts, and I don't know if this person's listening or not. I don't know if any of this is going to affect that person, and it doesn't matter. I can't let that matter. It's not my job to put expectations on someone else and to meddle in their lives, even though what they're doing is reverberating out and affecting mine. All I have to do is be who I'm supposed to be. And my reverberations are going out too, and guess what? That's meddling with theirs. So what I'm doing is no different, except I'm doing it in my vibrational frequency. And that's what we're all being called to do. Let's do it quickly. Let's all race with young energy, with vibrant energy toward our truths, toward being who we really are, because that's freedom. Freedom isn't handling everything by ourselves, folks. There's no such freaking thing. We're all one. And anything you do affects everyone around you. And everything that everyone else does affects you. So you can isolate yourself all you want to. You can think that you've got control of a situation all you want to. You're kidding yourself. All you control is you and the energy you put out. And that's the freedom of your truth. The more control you have in the world comes from being who you authentically are and recognizing that by putting that energy out and affecting change, that is how you really have any control at all. That is the only power you have. Otherwise, you're caught in an energy loop that's just with yourself. And all you're doing is going around and around in circles. And you're getting nowhere. And you're wondering, what am I doing here? My heart knows. I can see it. Some things are going right. Why isn't this going right? Everything works that way. It really is simple. So simple that a child can understand it. Every time you make something complex, folks, step back. Say, okay, what am I doing here? What is the simple truth? I need to go speak it. I need to go say it. I need to be open, authentic, real. I need to look at the situation. Yes, there are snakes in the grass. When you're dealing with those, you sometimes have to be a little more covert looking into those situations. That doesn't mean you have to do it alone. There's no such thing as alone. And there's always something you can do, as long as we're breathing. And this is how we all live, in great big capital